What's good? What's good? Hey, peace, everyone. How's it going? It is such an honor and a pleasure to see you all. Let me know where you're coming live from. My name is Remedy. I am a music performing and recording artist, and today we are talking about owning it, okay? This message is for the artists, the creatives, the uh, everyday people actually, but those individuals feeling out of alignment with the systems that they're in, out of alignment with their purpose, out of alignment with who they are. This conversation is for you. Of course, you all know I want to do myself a quick favor and make sure that I am sharing, that I'm online. People actually like when I send out these messages, so let me send this out. One second, my loves. While you're waiting on me to get myself together, let me know that you guys have sound. It's important that I know that you have sound. So if they make sure that you all can hear me. You ever have like messages like I got messages from people and I don't know who they are. I don't know who they are. Okay, like help me out. Help me out. All right, guys. Yeah. So if you're in the building, go ahead and let me know that you're here. I'm just letting everybody else know that I'm here, that I'm in the building, in the different respective places that I move and navigate through. Let's see. And also, I could not go live today. In fact, let me. I couldn't go live on Instagram today, and I was like, I'm not gonna force it, or I will be more late. So let me tell that to Instagram. Instagram, what's up, guys? Unfortunately, I'm unable to go live today. So you're going to have to, well, I'm unable to go live on Instagram today. So you're going to have to come see me live on YouTube or on Facebook, okay? On my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Fire Remedy, or you're going to have to go to YouTube, which is youtube.com /at Fire Remedy, okay? I'll see you there. So, yeah, guys. What's up, guys? Unfortunately, yes, guys. Doing like all the most at the same time, trying to do everything at the same time. It can be challenging, but it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. So yeah, guys, let me know that you're in the building. Drop your location, drop your name, tell me where you're from. We're gonna go ahead and have a conversation today about artists owning it. Okay, it's time that we own who we are. Okay, it's about time not only that we own who we are, but there's a lot of things when you think of the word ownership. There's a lot of things that can come to your mind when you think of that, right? 2 weeks ago, God came for identity. Last week, God used isolation and the sun to reveal what was real and what was being formed. And we talked a bit about like artist persona versus artist identity, etc. Today, the natural move of spirit is to go into talking about ownership, okay? Not just legally, though, all right? That matters, though, and we will go there, but spiritually first, okay? Owning who you are in the room, owning your calling without apology, owning your sound, your timeline, your path, owning it confidently, fearlessly, and unapologetically, okay? So yes, the paperwork follows this posture. When you learn to own your the room, your room, the room, every room, when you learn to own your calling, when you learn to own your purpose, when you own your sound and your path and your timeline, yes, absolutely, you begin to start also realizing that there's more that come with that, right? There's more that come with that level of responsibility of making sure that you walk the walk and you walk the talk, right? So you cannot claim what you have not registered, okay? You cannot register what you have not claimed. So this conversation starts in the spirit and lands in the practical, okay? So we're moving from the word of the Most High God was coming through, but also going into like practical ways in which ownership applies, all right? God is at the center of all of this conversation. Like I said, if this is not for you, then if that's not something you're into, then this is probably not a conversation for you, because it will be all throughout all throughout the conversation. Let me send that I'm here from to a few more people, letting them know that I'm in the building. But I would definitely, oh, you guys, I'll be forgetting. Like, you're gonna start hearing the boop, boop. Baba Pearson, shout out to Baba Pearson, who just had a birthday and who also sent me some music yesterday to listen to. That was amazing, 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 amazing. Okay, I'm gonna send this to. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna send it to one more person, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so if you're just tuning in, my name is RIMIDI. I'm a music performing artist and recording artist, songwriter, composer, and of course, educator. I used to teach for two of the school systems down here in the region in which I live, and so I like to call myself like a retired teacher for the school system, but I'm definitely still on and popping in general. Okay, so it is an honor to have you here. What's good? What's good? Like when I see you guys with like your online personas or your online names, and I don't usually call you that or talk to you, I'm like, who the heck is that? But that's Rod. Oh, yeah, Rod, that should be saying All Day Productions. It should be saying All Day Productions. But yeah, guys, one thing, let's just say a quick prayer. God, we just give thanks for this conversation, for the information, for the receptiveness, for the channeling that comes through. May the ears that are able to hear it. May those words come out in the way in which it can be conveyed. May our lives be blessed. May they be filled with abundance. May we recognize that it's always filled with abundance and begin to recognize the abundance that is within and around us. We just give thanks for our lives. We thank you for protection, and we honor you in the wonderful name of the Creator. May this be a great conversation. Thanks so much. So again, welcome in. Drop your name and where you're tuning in from. I want to know who is in the room with me. I always love knowing who's in the room. All Day Productions, Rod is in the building. That's my drummer. Shout out to you, Rod. Also, guys, let me just make sure that I am live on Facebook. Make sure everything is working how it's supposed to. Okay, I am live on Facebook because it was kind of looking weird, making it seem like it wasn't going to show today. Okay, so I'm always grateful to have you all here with me every single Thursday that you choose to show up. Whether you have been here since the beginning or this is your first live here with me for Global Thursday, that's not an accident. You're supposed to be here. You're exactly where you are supposed to be. We have been in real conversation these past few weeks on Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time about identity, about isolation, about how the sun that rises on the artist who has been building in quiet. And today the conversation continues, okay? Because what God starts, he finishes. She finishes. It finishes. And God is not done yet, okay? So take a breath. I really need that, okay? I really needed that. I didn't get a chance to get into my rising routine today. I went to bed, I don't know at what time. I went to bed at the craziest time. I don't even know, 4 to 6 a.m. this rising. And so I kind of woke up in enough time to be able to be here, right? We talked about this a lot, though, that artist discipline and make sure you're showing up for yourself first. So as soon as I'm done with this, I have to tune into myself. But ideally, I like to tune into myself first before I tune into other people. So that breath was very important for me. And I hope that you took that breath and that it was as equally as important to you. Maybe perhaps you haven't had a chance to connect with yourself today, but do me a favor, get comfortable. Let's get into it. Let me make sure that I send out my text to whom I want to send it out. There's another place that I want to put this. Let me put this in the Fire and Remedy announcements. I am live now. Hold on, 2 seconds. Don't worry, guys. Have patience with me. Sooner or later, these things will be done by my executive assistant so I can focus on the live. But in the meantime, you know, Shane, we gotta do what we gotta do. We gotta do what we gotta do. So I just put that in the chat. Oh yeah, there's another place I want to put this. I put it in the announcements community for Find Your Remedy on WhatsApp. I'm putting it here. The beauty, now I gotta say that I'm proud of myself today because this was pretty much scheduled. This was pretty much scheduled everywhere in advance, and like I woke up today to see like most of the work that I would usually do on this day had already been done because I took it upon myself to make sure. Oh, darn it, I posted this without posting the link. I took it upon myself to make sure that I scheduled everything. Look, I can't even get my words out. That I scheduled everything in advance. So that was like really like, I was so proud of myself today. I was like, girl, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's how you show up. That's how you show up. So we got to give ourselves credit for when we're doing things right. You feel me? Like, ah, that made me so happy. So, yeah, find your remedy. Okay, come on now, come on now, come on now. Let me get this thing going now. Don't play games. Don't play games. All right, remedy is live now. Okay. All right, perfect. I'll come back and fix these things later. All right, that's amazing. Okay, so it's posted everywhere. And so let's get started. All right, so if you're here because you are a music artist, you're a creative, you're some type of amazing being that may be in this industry, have been in this industry for a while, or you're looking to get into this creative industry, whatever may have you. Maybe you want to be, or you are a music artist, you want to be a music artist, you are a songwriter, you are a composer, maybe you're an artist of different disciplines, dance, all these things still apply to you. And maybe you're just simply an everyday person who just feel out of alignment with who you are and your purpose. And so today's conversation and all the conversations are in alignment with you, okay? So, like I said, 2 weeks ago, we talked about identity, okay? Who are you before you build anything? And last week, we talked about isolation and what that quiet season does to an artist and why the sun still rises even when you cannot see it yet. In fact, you are the sun, so you're always rising. Like, shout out to you, by the way, for getting up today. That's you rising like the sun. And the sun does not ever ask for permission to rise. The sun just rises. So shout out to you for getting up and for rising, okay? And I want to pick off where we left off because here's what I know to be true. Once you know who you are and whose you are, once identity is clear, once the isolation has done its work, the very next question God asks is this. Now that you know who you are, do you own it? Now that you know who you are and whose you are, do you own it? Okay? That's a question I want you to ask yourself. Do you own it? Do you know who you are? Okay? And now that you know who you are, do you own who you are? Okay? Now, we could go into like a whole bunch of like conversations around like ownership all the way to like our birth certificate and starting there, but you know, that's a whole nother conversation. But if we all ever want to get in the room and like put the right people in the room who knows that information, we could definitely do that if you know where I'm going with that. But otherwise, do you own the room? Do you own who you are in every room that you go in? Do you walk in and take a space that you were called to take up? Do you speak about your gift without shrinking? Do you present your work without apologizing for it? Do you sit at the table that God prepared for you without waiting for someone to give you permission to be there? In fact, do you even create your own tables to sit at? That is where we're going today. Ownership, all of it. The spiritual, the personal, and yes, the practical. Because they are not separate. They are all one and the same. They all are important. They all have to go together. What's good? If you're coming into the building, please let me know that you're here. I always love to know who's in the room. Shout out to you for being here. My name is Remedy. Shout out to me for being here. I am a music performing and recording artist. By the way, let me do a really quick announcement before we go into what is getting ready to happen in this conversation and dive deeper into ownership. Okay, let me try something. What's up, guys? Remedy here, and I'm with
Gino Black, Powerblast Worldwide.
Let's go. Okay, so today is an amazing day. I want to start off by saying I want to thank everybody who has gotten Juno, the late bloomer, the latest album that my team and I have put out. It's an amazing album. I love it. You know, it's for those who are those free thinkers, those who've been going through a grieving process. But it's not just about grieving. It's also about late blooming and coming into yourself and just finding your position in this world and being happy about that. And also not succumbing to being someone else other than yourself. You know what I'm saying? Be who you are. And then we just came from a venue, what?
Yeah, we was venue scouting today. We got some stuff in the works.
Yes.
Just remember, find your remedy. Remember that. We scoping out some venues. We got our eyes on a really, really, really sweet situation. Yes. Y'all got to stay tuned for it.
I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful. We're all blessed. Listen, findyourremedy.com will be updated. So I know you might go there looking for it. Stand by. We're going to get it updated and we're going to get that information to you. And we will make the official announcement of what you can look forward to. Otherwise, we thank you. We love you. We honor you. Have a wonderful day, y'all. Wonderful week. Peace.
Peace.
Wow, I'm just sitting here talking. I just love when I have people. I'm like, I can't stand when that happens. I cannot stand when that happens. Okay, what? First of all, I was like, I got commercials, y'all. Like, I was so excited. I was like, look at my commercial. I got commercials, and then didn't even realize that I was unmuted and couldn't talk. Golly, oh my God, I'm getting better at this. Okay, thank you, Aaron, for letting me know. Shout out for you being here. Okay, but guys, I'm getting better. I learned something new. But first of all, we got a commercial. Okay, we had commercials up in here. Y'all at least heard the commercial, right? Please tell me you heard the volume of the commercial. Okay, because that's important. But go ahead, go to findyourremedy.com. Okay, Find Your Remedy event is coming up on August first. All right. If you didn't get to see that commercial, just come back and watch it later. I got 11 of y'all in the building. Shout out to y'all for watching. Let me know that you're here. Okay, let me know that you are in the building. Let me know where you're streaming live from. We're going to continue our conversation. My name is RIMIDI. I'm a music performing and recording artist. I'm very happy that you're here. And today we're talking about ownership. So let's go ahead and start where we left off, all right? So owning the room, okay? Because everything else, owning your music, owning your business, owning your identity, it starts with whether or not you can walk into a space and be fully unapologetically present as yourself. Okay? Are you able to own up to who you are? Like I said, we've been talking a lot about identity, right? And artist persona and artist identity, and just even like owning up to who you are is the fullness of the conversation today. Right? Because you got to first know who you are before you can really own any space and be able to go into any space fully and apologetically as yourself, right? I have been in rooms where I've made myself feel small. I made myself small, where I adjusted my voice, my presence, my energy to fit what I thought the room expected. And every single time I did that, I left something behind. I left a piece of me that I was called to bring to that space. Raise your hand if you can identify with that. Or some people might call it an imposter syndrome, you know, but you go into these spaces as though you were not called to be there, as though God did not put you into that room, you know. I remember when I first had decided, you know what, I'm not wearing all those dressy clothes anymore because that's not my style, you know. And so when I first started like my career in general, like, you know, being a substitute teacher and just like going into the workforce, I started, you know, wearing the collared shirt and the slacks and all that, and I was so uncomfortable in my clothes. Like I was so uncomfortable in this presentation that I had created, that over time I started saying, no, that's not me. And so, and my mother even would get frustrated at times when I would show up in certain places and I would dress very different than what the room has called you to dress for. I mean, I'm in dress code. It just ain't how you think it should be in code, but it's my code for the old dress style. And you know what I'm saying? Because this is what I feel comfortable in. And so I used to get a lot of pushback about that as well. But at the end of the day, it's just like I have to be able to be fully myself, and that includes also the things that I wear, right? I want you to know that God does not call you into rooms so you could perform a smaller version of yourself or to perform in general. He calls you into these spaces to bring your full self, the full thing, the fullness of you, the full gift, the full presence, the full calling, okay? Owning the room is not arrogance, okay? It is stewardship. Did y'all hear that? Let me repeat that. In fact, let me put that in the chat for y'all and let me share that on the screen, because I think some people need to hear that again or read that again, okay? Owning the room is not arrogance. It is stewardship, okay? Owning the room is not arrogance. It is stewardship. And that's really important for y'all to understand that. It's me being who I'm supposed to be. And if I do anything other than what I'm supposed to be doing, which is being myself, then I'm not being true to who I am. I'm not being true to the scholarship. I'm not owning up who I am. It is saying, God put something in me and I'm going to honor it by not hiding it. I'm going to honor it by not shrinking. I'm going to honor it by not dimming it so someone else is more comfortable. I'm going to own the room. Own the room. Walk in like you belong there, because you do. Let me tell y'all, this is a little secret of mine that's no longer a secret, but I have been to quite a few concerts where I have gotten into the VIP experience without no VIP pass. And I have a trick. And the trick is I always show up like I belong there. I just walk in like I don't look like I'm looking for questions, or like I'm looking for the security to notice me or not notice me. No, I just walk in that mother scudder like I belong there. And it works every single time. You gotta act like you belong there. Have you ever walked into a situation where you acted like you belong there, as though you belong there. In fact, you shouldn't be acting because you belong there, right? So we talked about the difference between identity and persona. Identity is who you are. Persona is who you are becoming, or in some case, who you are pretending to be. Okay? Owning your identity means you stop letting other people define the terms of who you are. You stop letting the industry, or whatever industry you're in, tell you what kind of artist you should be. You stop letting the algorithm tell you what kind of content you should make. You stop letting comparisons steal the clarity of your own lane. You become the algorithm. Okay? I feel like I have cat hair on my face because it's always cat hair. My cat, Olive, she likes to hang out in here now so much lately. And every time I turn around, it's like cat hair somewhere. Okay? But anyway, but yeah, like you have to own your identity to the fullness. Okay? So when I talk about owning your identity, I mean this. You become so clear on who God made you that the outside noise stop having power over your direction. Not because you're not listening, but because you have already heard from a higher source. Whatever you call that higher source, we can all touch and agree that there is a higher power, right? And we can all touch and agree that that higher power is love, right? So that higher power is constantly giving you subtle cues and clues and whispers as to who you are, right? And it's your responsibility to be able to hear it, to be able to see it, to be able to listen, okay? So that kind of ownership that you go into when you begin to own your identity, I want you to know it's not really built overnight. For some people, it can just be a natural thing. For many of us, when we were young people, that's how we came here. We came here innocent. We came here as the fullness of ourselves. And then people started telling us who we were, who we weren't, who we gonna be, who we not gonna be, etc., etc., etc. And then those are the things that started to strip us of like owning who we are into the room, owning who we are in the room, until we decide to come into the season of coming back into the ownership of claiming who we are. Okay, but this ownership does take time, especially if you've had to rebuild it, or you're rebuilding it, or you've come from a place where you experienced a lot, you've gone through identity crisis, etc., etc. Sometimes it takes time to rebuild this or to build this, okay? But it is built most times in the quiet seasons, in the isolation, in the stripping, in the formation, and when you come out on the other side, you don't apologize for what you are and who you came out to be. You carry it, you own it confidently, fearlessly, unapologetically, all right? That is your assignment. That's how you show up. That's how you own. Now, I want to shift from the spiritual into the practical, okay? Because they connect, and I need you to see how the spiritual connects with the practical. So before any contract, before any registration, before any paperwork, you have to first believe that what you created belongs to you, that your sound is yours, that your lyrics are yours, that your catalog is yours, that no label, no producer, no relationship, no bad deal can take away what God gave you. If you protect it though, right? First thing you need to know, first law is you need to know that as soon as you make something in the tangible form, it is now protected, right? But the days are gone of when you were able to send yourself your tangible intellectual property to yourself and get the postmaster to put the stamp on it and say, okay, yep, it's copyrighted, right? It's protected. Those days are gone. The best legal protection for you is to register it with the Copyright Office, the U.S. Copyright Office.gov. Okay. Now, like I said, you gotta understand that, and you gotta already know that what you created, that's yours. But to take it to another level of protection, you gotta protect it. So this is why a lot of artists get hurt, because they create without claiming, they release without registering, they build without infrastructure, and then when something happens, and something always eventually happens, they find out too late that they did not own what they thought they owned, or they thought that what they owned and didn't have anything to do. And I do on a spiritual, from a spiritual mindset or state of mind, I I do kind of feel like, why do we have to do all those things, right? Like, all we're doing is just paying into a system so that the system can, register these things for us, and it all ties back to money. But at the end of the day, until we find the best solution, which I'm pretty sure there is one out there, we do what we have to do to protect ourselves, and that's one of the ways that we can protect ourselves. Okay, so like, I paid an attorney. I actually paid 2 attorneys and like connected with others over a span of 4 years to understand all this information. Not because I was not talented, but because I did not know what I did not know, and nobody told me, or they tried to tell me, or they tried to tell me, but I didn't understand at the time the value of the information. Like, I also believe that to receive information, you have to be ready to receive it. You have to have like those prereqs sometime to be able to understand like why this is important. So this is why I do my best to make these conversations as simple as possible, so that if you are an artist and you are creating, you understand like the importance of creating your intellectual property. Intellectual property is what comes from your mind. Anything that comes from your mind is intellectual property that you put into tangible form, right? Tangible form means that it's real now. You can touch it. So if I make a song, it was once in my head, but then I record it, and what I'm saying, and now it's on an audio recording, and other people can listen to it. It's now tangible. If I paint something, I have the idea in my head, but now I take it and I put it onto a canvas. It's now tangible, and now I now have the responsibility of protecting it. You have someone who's telling you. You have someone who's giving you the information. You have someone who's giving you the sauce. Okay, and so like, because I'm giving you the sauce, it will behoove you to utilize that sauce and to take the information and apply it to your own life. Start to do the research, or you might know a lot of things, but maybe there's some things you don't know, and so like, you want to listen to these conversations to gain what you don't know. In fact, each one teach one. So if there's information that you know and that you can share, you should definitely drop it in the chat so that others are able to also learn what you know. Each one teach one, y'all. We have to stop gatekeeping, and we have to give the information. Like, yes, we have to set up situations and where we can pay ourselves and be paid, but we also have to set up situation where like, we understand that the value and the expansion comes in us helping others to expand. So when we are able to help others expand, we expand as a result of that, right? And I'm hearing like, yes, it's also too, when we have our infrastructure in place and we have the proper structure in place, protecting ourselves, like, hey, give the information. So I'm telling you today, owning your music starts in your spirit. Okay, owning your artistry starts in your spirit, with the belief that it is yours. I know some of y'all like, what you talking about? Like, yeah, it's mine. Okay, yeah, it's yours, but it's also valuable. Do you believe that what you've created is valuable? You know what I'm saying? Do you understand the art is in the eye of the beholder? What may be deemed worth nothing today, in 20 years could be worth a lot of money. I made a song once with a major artist. Well, actually, I made a song with one of my peers who is an amazing artist, and just having fun with it. No split sheet, no nothing, no agreement, no nothing. And then he had a management team, and his management team started shopping. I didn't even know. Like, I moved on with my life. And then his management team started shopping the song that we made, and it got picked up by a major artist. And in fact, my part that I sang was supposed to get picked up by another major artist to sing that part, right? It was one of the most exciting parts, major milestones in my life. But I made a mistake. I had no split sheet available. In fact, I said I was going to create a standard split sheet and put it on my site for free. But split sheets you can Google. You should always have a split sheet when you're creating music with someone else. like before you do business, you should be talking about like how we gonna split this once we finish creating this. You know what I'm saying? Like that should be the conversation before the creation start happening, or as soon as you like wrap it up. But really, should the conversation should happen before the creation happens, so that there's no discrepancies and there's overstanding on each side. But yeah, I didn't have a split sheet. So we had to scramble and put something together. But because I didn't have an agreement or anything in place, you know, it's like, and I didn't understand the industry. I pretty much got that song. I made some money off of it, but it was work for hire because I pretty much I signed a work for hire agreement, pretty much waiving all my rights to the song, and was only able to just receive money from the song. Work for hire has its places, but when you're creating music, you don't want to. You want to be able to keep ownership of your songs and publishing of your songs. You know what I'm saying? That's how you want to do agreements. But I didn't know better, and that's because I just didn't get it. And so this is the stuff that I want you to understand. Like that song later could have made me so much money had I really understood the value of what I had created. And I didn't really understand at that time the value of what I had created. Okay, so when you start understanding that ownership starts with you first understanding like who you are and whose you are and why protecting your work is so important, then you begin to move that way. Okay, and then you start to go into action, and you begin to register, and you begin to document. Let me see, somebody has sent me a text. What are they saying to me? Okay, I don't know. He said, someone sent me LOL, so I didn't know if I have to sometimes look at the texts that are coming through because they be trying to help me. Shout out to Dudley Alexis, who is an amazing documentarian, and it's so funny that he texted me right while I was saying the word documentation. But yeah, you begin to register, you start documenting your processes, so you know what your processes look like. So like I'm in the midst of documenting my processes because I have my executive assistant coming back and returning, and I got to make sure that this process is seamless for her when she come back. All this time that she's been away on leave, when she come back, I want her to see that like I've been building systems. We've been building systems over here and like making it easier for not only ourselves but also for her. And that's why sometimes too I'm not always fully showing up, because I'm also like really focused on the back end, so that when she come, these things are like set. Like I'm making sure that I come on Thursdays. Every Thursday at 1 p.m. I'm making sure that I am like doing all the back end stuff, but I gotta make sure that I get my every other Tuesday back on schedule, and that I'm getting my content schedule back on schedule in advance, rather, let's just say, having that stuff scheduled in advance. So yeah, you want to make sure also that you understand that owning yourself, owning like who you are, and moving like you know who you are, and moving like, you know what I'm saying, with grace and ownership, you begin to understand also structure is important. Okay, because stewardship requires both faith and follow through. So like faith without works is dead. So you have to own the room also through the actions. Okay, it's the way you speak, it's the way you carry yourself, it's the way that you have confidence, it's the way that now you understand the importance of protecting your work. And so now you're, you know, embodying that through the actions you take, like registering your work. And yeah, look, Dudley, I don't know why I keep, like, when I'm going live sometimes I be ruining y'all names, but y'all know I love y'all. But Dudley says, I wish you would write that in the comments here, Dudley, so I could put it on the screen for everybody to see. But I'm gonna tell y'all what Dudley said. If I could get into this device. Dudley says, child, what? Child, I ain't got time for that. Well, listen, my thing went that crazy. He said he loves what we're talking about right now, copyright. We need to talk about the artist union also. What do you want to talk about? Okay, so when I go into like talking about the union, I want you to, or when I go into talking about like what y'all want me to talk about, I want you to tell me that and be specific, okay, about it. Like, are you talking about also being members with SAG-AFTRA? And like me personally, I am at the place where I have enough points to join the memberships for SAG AFTRA, and I need to make sure that I follow through on my membership, right? Because that comes with a whole slew of things. So like, let me know specifically, because I'm happy to dive into talking about that. And Dudley, I'm even happy to bring you on in a conversation to talk about that and the importance of artists union, because I feel like I'm not gonna sit here and be like I'm the pro or expert on that, but I will tell you that that is something that I just told my team, like, yeah, I gotta make sure I do my full membership with SAG AFTRA, because I've gained enough points to become a member of SAG AFTRA. So I'm wondering if you're referring to that, and like any other unions that you are referring to, because remember what I told you, each one teach one. So we want to learn, we want to teach each other what information we may be missing, what information we need to know, what information that we may not know at all. Okay, so I hope that y'all gained something great from this conversation today. I want to close this session by speaking directly to the late bloomers. Y'all know that's always who I'm speaking to, as someone who has navigated this life as a late bloomer in so many different areas of my life, including my cycle. Okay, everything just late, showing up to life late. Okay, but I always want to talk to the late bloomers because we carry a particular kind of weight when it comes to ownership. We have watched others build. We have seen careers launch that seem to happen overnight. We have compared timelines and wondered if we missed our window. And sometimes in that comparison, we start giving away the ownership of our path. Okay, we start letting someone else's journey define whether our journey is valid or not. Okay, now I'm going to leave you with this. I want you to own your path, own the late start, own the detours, own the seasons where it looked like nothing was happening because a lot was happening underground, behind the scenes. Maybe life was lifing. Maybe you had to show up to life. Maybe you spent a lot of time in survival mode. Whatever it is, own the fact that your bloom is here, or it's coming, or it's happening. Okay, I'm going to say that it's already here. And it does not need to look like anyone else to be real. I keep telling y'all about, or I'm going to say what I keep doing, but I want you to remember the flowers, right? This is why I wanted y'all to get a garden. I told y'all last time to please get a garden, even if it's a balcony garden, even if you're starting with one plant, because if you watch the plant and how the plant grows, particularly get 2 plants, okay? Because I want you to get, and I want you to get 2, if you can't, get 2 different types of flowers, or even just get 2 different types of plant and let's call them flowers. And I want you to just notice how they do their own thing. Neither one of them are watching the others. Neither one of them are trying to be the other. They're growing at their own pace. You'll notice that one might grow faster than the other grows slower than it. You'll just notice, and it's like that is us, and that's how we should begin to see ourselves, as our own individual flowers. Even like flowers from the same group or the same family, even those who are exactly alike in terms of like their DNA structure, even within them, you'll notice some grow faster than others, some grow slower. That's your journey, and you have to get to a place where you start to recognize that that's your journey. And I do want to touch on something only because I have Dudley in the space, and it just reminded me too, like sometimes also too, maybe you need to be uprooted and planted into a new territory too. That's another conversation, and if that's a conversation y'all want to have, we could definitely do that. One of the tools that I like to work with when it comes to like uprooting and looking in the world where it might be best fit for me is astrocartography. You can look that up on your own. But like it's a tool that helps you use astrology and a map to figure out where in the world is best for you. There are some astrologers that offer that service. I kind of do it on my own, and I've used it to determine where in the world is better for me. Sometimes also too, you just to own the room, you have to also get yourself into the spaces that you are called to be. And maybe you are playing it too small because you're afraid to go into the next chapter of your life, and the next chapter of your life might look like another place. It might look like you're being detoured, or like you're being forced to move from where you are into another place, and that's okay. Okay, I just want you to know that the career God called you to build is yours, not the one that the industry expects, not the one that comparison demands. It's yours, it's you, and it's time for you to own it. Okay, and even if that means looking at other places to live, you might want to do that. Thank you, Dudley. Thank you. This is what Dudley had put. This is what he shared with me. I asked him to share it here. So yeah, that's something we could definitely talk about. And Dudley, I think I might want to have you online for that conversation. Is that something you would be interested in doing? You could text me privately if you want to tell me. But I'm happy. I'm actually even like I'm at a place where I'm like I want to start having conversations with my peers too. So let me know if y'all want to come on, particularly my artist peers. Of any discipline, and especially my artist peers that work in entertainment, specifically music artists, songwriters, and composers. But I would like to talk to my artist peers across the board because there's something we can all learn from one another. All right. So now I want to give you something because everything we just talked about, owning your identity, owning your music, owning your path, it connects directly to something that I put together for you and made completely complimentary, made available complimentary for you. I really just like saying the word free. I like complimentary. Complimentary sounds fancy. So as you all know or may not know, I have created the Independent Artist Starter Checklist for you. It is available for complimentary. It's available complimentary on unapologetically.com. It's 10 things every artist needs before taking music seriously. And it looks at, well, so far we've been looking at number 2 and number 3 on that list. Number 2, protect your music and your intellectual property. Again, if you are an artist of another discipline, another artistry, then you know you still need to protect what you are creating. Like Dudley creates documentaries. So like just because he's documenting other people's life, he still needs to copyright the finished product of his work, right? Or he might not just be documenting other people's life, but experiences, realities, culture, etc. And so he needs to be able to make sure that he is protecting that by protecting the intellectual property, him bringing all that together into one big thing, okay? And also, you all want to trademark your brand, okay? You want to make sure that you're trademarking your brand by doing a simple search on USPTO, looking to see if it is copyrighted, or excuse me, that's trademark, looking to see if it's trademark. If somebody else is already using the name in your industry, you want to check that. If someone is using your name, like there are people using the name Remedy, ignorant to the fact that it's copywritten, that it's trademarked. Excuse me. I used to always get that confused, but I want to make sure I'm not confusing you because I definitely used to be so confused between what is patent and trademark and copyright. But trademark is when you protect the use of your logo or word, right? And then copywriting is protecting like the melodies and lyrics or the like composition or structure of something. You cannot copyright a title, but you can trademark words or logo, right? So you want to make sure that you are protecting your brand. And if someone else has the name that you want to use already and they're using it, have some respect and don't use it. Find another name, you know what I'm saying? And don't impede on someone's trademark and the work that they've been building, okay? And then number 3 is register your songwriting and your publishing. So you want to make sure that you're signed up with a pro. You want to make sure that you, a pro is a performing rights organization. Like in the case of what Dudley was talking about, that is not necessarily for singers unless the singers or songwriters, unless they are like acting and going into film. That would be like SAG-AFTRA and being part of their union. There's like other unions that I cannot think of right now off the top of my head, but I will share those things. But as far as like my checklist, what I'm speaking of is like making sure you're registered with your pro, making sure you are registered with the MLC, making sure you are registered with Sound Exchange, make sure your stuff is copyrighted and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, okay? Those are not suggestions. Those are the practical side of everything we have been talking about today. You claim it in the spirit and you protect it in the natural. That is the full picture of ownership. Okay, that checklist, the independent artist starter checklist. That checklist is on my website right now, available to you at no cost. IamRemedy.com. There's no catch. Just go get it. IamRemedy.com. Download it. Work through it. And if something on that list brings up a question, bring it back here. Okay, that is what this community is for. That's what this conversation is for. And while you are there on my website, IamRemedy.com, you want to go to you want to download the album Juno the Late Bloomer. It's available there for you to stream it. You don't even have to download it. You can just listen and vibe to it. It lets you listen to it for free. Okay, after like I think listening to it 3 or 4 times, it starts to let you know like it's time for you to come out your pocket, boo. It's time to open up thy wallet, okay, and pay for the album. When you guys purchase the album, it actually pays for business expenses. Like I literally am able to pay for business expenses because of you supporting the album. So this is why I prefer you listening to my music via my website, via bandcamp.com, where the album is, where you could purchase the album direct to consumer. I see the money right away. Okay, like literally within 24 hours I'll see that money, whereas when you stream my music, I'm getting like less than a penny per stream, and it takes time, and it takes lots of time. So I may, like, let's just say you buy Juno the Late Bloomer today for $20, $25, or even $100, right? You decide, you want to give a little sprinkle in there, right? It would take me probably about, you do the math, 0.03 streams times whatever to be able to get that same amount in 3 months. You know what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind. So when you have an artist that is asking you to please go to their website to purchase their music and buy direct to consumer, bless that artist, and do that. So yeah, Juno the Late Bloomer is out. It's available on IamRemedy.com to stream, to download. That album is about everything we talked about in this room. It's set to music. Go listen. Go share it with someone who needs it, okay? Now, for those of you who have been in the room for a few weeks, who have been taking notes, who feel something stirring, I want you to know that there is more available to you. What happens in this live is like just the tip of the iceberg, okay? Now, I want you to understand that I work with artists one-on-one. And I also am going to be hosting some webinars because I want to work with more at the same time, but I also work with artists one-on-one, okay? This is something that has become very important to me, that I'm able to assist in empowering other artists. I know what it's like to be a starving artist. I know what it's like to not have your ducks in a row. I know what it's like to feel like you cannot make a sustainable career from your music and from your art. Like I know what that feels like, and so I want to be able to assist you and help you build what I have been talking about and what I am building, okay? The identity, the work, the infrastructure. It's that dang cat hair. The foundation. And if something feels right for you, the door is open, okay? You know where to find me, IamRemedy.com. DM me, reach out. There's no chasing anyone. I'm just leaving the door open. I do have 2 packages. I have a done for you package, and then I have a done with you. I actually push and promote the done with you because I feel like each one teach one. I feel like you should know what's going on. I do understand that some people are just busy and they don't have time, and so they might want to go for the done for you. I still educate you through that process, but I do feel like that is for someone who kind of knows the business, or they have an understanding of it, but they just don't have time, okay? But those of you who want to understand and want someone to walk with them along this journey to help get your affairs in order, then I have the done with you package, okay? That's me helping you with your EPK, your website, making sure that you understand the pros and getting it set up, things of that sort. Copywriting and things that's trademarking, that's additional, but like I still inform you of this information. But just give me a holla and I'll give you more information. So it is 2 o'clock. It's over 2 o'clock. It's 2:01. It's time for me to start wrapping up here. What's good? Yes, the 2 packages. Yes, to one-on-one. Yes, one-on-one coaching is available, and you can go to findyourremedy.bandcamp.com so that you can check out the music. Okay, so one thing I do want to ask you all before I go, as I was asking earlier, is what questions do you have about ownership, the spiritual aspects, the personal, or the practical? If you have any questions about that, I'm going to put that question in the chat, and I'd like for you to answer this question and let me know. That's the first question. Okay, so if you have any questions about ownership, the spiritual, the personal, or the practical, I would like for you to let me know. Also, I want to know, what would you like me to go deeper on next? What topic is pressing you right now as an independent artist or as an artist or everyday person? What topic? Guys, I can't wait to get off this live because there you go. Dang, that was driving me crazy. Like, what in the world? Okay, yeah. The next question. What would you like me to go deeper on next? Okay? What topic is pressing you right now as an independent artist? All right? I want you to drop that. Ownership. Own our shit. Let me tell you, I really want to bring in some people who go deeper on like ownership from like the very beginning, like talking about your birth certificate, and but like I'm still scouting those individuals and vetting them out. But like, when you were born, your parent pretty much signs you over, right? Your birth certificate is a bond, okay? And someone owns that. That's a whole nother conversation, but that's something that I really, really love talking about and learning about. And that's a conversation that I want to bring people into the space to like talk about that. But those are going to be private conversations and they will not be live. If they are live, they will be surface level. Those are the kind of conversations where I'm bringing people into the room. Like, Find Your Remedy, guys. Remember, findyourremedy.com. Remember, we have a Find Your Remedy event taking place on August 1st, Saturday, August 1st. You want to make sure that you are in the building for that experience, all right? I want you in the building because that's going to be a hybrid event. It's online and in person. And those are the spaces where I have the privilege of bringing people into the room to talk about things behind closed doors, you know what I'm saying, for those individuals who make it upon, who take it upon themselves to actually be in the building, right? You want to get into the rooms, okay? And then you want to own the rooms when you're in it. The last question I have for y'all is, what is the hardest part of ownership for you? What have you been giving away that God is calling you back to take, or to take back? Okay, let me put that question in the live. All right, what is the hardest part of ownership for you? What have you been giving away that God is calling you to take back? All right, what is it? Okay, and let me put that on the screen for y'all as well. Now, mind you, these are questions that you can answer me. Remember, I love when y'all answer each other, answer me, because of the fact that when we do that, somebody might need that information. Someone may be listening and you spark an idea in them. We have to be obedient and we have to speak. However, I also want you to know that maybe right now you don't have a question, or maybe you don't know how to articulate that question. You can always come back and you can write it in the chat. If you're watching this later, you can also write what you're thinking in the chat. You can also write me privately. You can write me on my private number if you have it. You can write me in DM. You can send me a message, whatever. But I want you to definitely communicate with me because this is important. All right. So ML says the hardest part of ownership is knowing what all a person owns. What you mean specifically by that? The hardest part of ownership is knowing what all a person owns. I think the hardest part of ownership is knowing what to own and what you can't own, and what you control and what you control versus own, and how to, just knowing how to own it, to knowing that ownership is a thing. that's my 2 cents on that. If you want to elaborate on the hardest part of ownership is knowing what all a person owns, that'd be amazing as well. You heard there was a book and a live event in the future. Yeah, I did a commercial. You missed my commercial. I'll do the commercial one more time before we head out. But yeah, I just want to say thank you all for being here. Thank you for trusting this space with your real questions and your real journey. I thank you, for just being in the room, guys, and owning the room. Okay, what I want you to leave with today is this: ownership is not something you earn. It is something you claim. And the moment you claim it, in the room, in your identity, in your music, in your art, in your path, in your life, everything around you has to respond to that, okay? I also want you to know that your current reality is just a reflection of past thoughts. So we want to make sure that we're tuning into our thoughts and allowing our thoughts to be more positive, and also detaching from the thoughts as an observer versus being so attached to the thoughts. Like, all of your thoughts are not yours. I don't know why Spirit wanted me to say that, but I needed to make sure I said that for someone. Okay, we are co-creating with the creator in creating this reality. Okay, so what you see in front of you is not your forever, and it's not your everyday reality. It's like you got to get a hold of those thoughts so that your outer realities can start shifting. But it must start first on the inside. So own it confidently, fearlessly, unapologetically. The checklist is free at unapologetically.com. Complimentary. Y'all know I just like that word, free. The checklist, the Independent Starter Artist Checklist, is available complimentary at unapologetically.com. Juno, the Late Bloomer, is there to stream as well, and to share, and to download. And I will be back here next Thursday. Same time, same place, different conversation. We keep going. I love y'all so much. God bless. Now go own something. What's up, guys? Remedy here, and I'm with
Black, Powerblast Worldwide.
Let's go. Okay, so today is an amazing day. I want to start off by saying I want to thank everybody who has gotten Juno, the Late Bloomer, the latest album that my team and I have put out. It's an amazing album. I love it. It's for those who are those free thinkers, those who've been going through a grieving process. But it's not just about grieving. It's also about late blooming and coming into yourself and just finding your position in this world and being happy about that. And also not succumbing to being someone else other than yourself. You know what I'm saying? Be who you are. And then we just came from a venue, what?
Yeah, we was venue scouting today. We got some stuff in the works.
Yes.
Just remember, find your remedy. Remember that. We scoping out some venues. We got our eyes on a really, really, really sweet situation. Yes. Y'all got to stay tuned for it.
I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful. We're all blessed. Listen, findyourremedy.com will be updated. So I know you might go there looking for it. Stand by. We're going to get it updated, and we're going to get that information to you, and we will make the official announcement of what you can look forward to. Otherwise, we thank you. We love you. We honor you. Have a wonderful day, y'all. Wonderful week. Peace.
Peace.